And everybody, welcome to another edition of the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk. I'm Jason Pattison. I want to thank you all for joining us today. Kind of getting some things all out of the kink here a little bit, and I just want to thank everybody for jumping on with us today. Let's bring them on, as like it says in that description, the man, the myth, the legend, Otis Kirk. Otis, man, how's it going today?
Going good. How are you doing, Jason?
Doing good. Yesterday was actually Friday. I was talking with Dudley. We're trying out some new streaming software, and so if it works, great. I think we're going to keep using it. If not, then we might not. But I think it's so far so good. I do want to thank our sponsor, Torchy's Tacos, and locations in Rogers off the Pauline Whitaker Parkway, and also in Fayetteville off of the Martin Luther King road over there. Also, make sure to check out all of their full service bar. Also, tacos, house-made queso and chips. Also, go over to the bar too and grab a cold one. You got to do something to keep cool with this summer heat that's going to fire back up next week. I think we're going to get a little bit of reprieve, Otis. The first of this week, I think we're going to get some rain tonight, and then tomorrow, I think it's going to
tomorrow
really,
and Tuesday.
pick up.
Tomorrow and Tuesday, I think will be pretty good. The rest of it will be pretty hot again. But
Yep.
It's that time of year, man. I mean,
It is.
I'm used to it now. So I tell you, April and May is when it kills me, when it's not that hot, but it's just starting to get hot.
Yeah.
Once I get used to it, I'm fine. I covered those football camps and stuff, and it was hot, but I'm fine covered, out in the heat now. Doesn't mean I like it, but I'm fine with it, Doesn't mean I love it. Believe me, I don't. But I mean, I'm used to it, so I don't. I know a lot of the talk's going to be about those two kids from Parkview not coming to Arkansas. I knew that was happening. I knew it was happening. That's why I didn't really publicize the ceremony or anything, because I already knew in advance that Man was going to OU and I was going to Kansas State. So I will say this. This is a little bit different than some. Arkansas made a very good NIL offer to Marion Robinson. People may not know who but Marion Robinson. Arkansas made a very good NIL offer to him. What some of the places where they don't, the money wasn't. I don't know if OU paid more, but But the bottom line is this. I mean, look, that's a bad look for Sam. It's a bad look when all these kids leave the state. It's just a bad look. But with that said, I mean, people talking about, like he's a dead man walk. Not if he wins this year. Yeah. I mean, one of the things they're using against Sam in recruiting is he's 4-8 last year, I believe it was. Terrible record. But if they win this year, I'm talking about 7, 8, 9 wins, then all that is going to change. they won't be able to use that against him. But I mean, the bottom line is Sam's got to get it figured out. He's got to win. He's got to stop this. I've always said that he needs to hire someone from inside, a former Razorback who has ties to the state of Arkansas, and let him recruit the state, and preferably, a former player. I mean, I just think that's somebody that these kids can relate to and can build relationships with them. He has no former Razorbacks on his staff, and and I think he's got a very good staff. He has this is the best staff. This is the best staff I've seen at Arkansas in some time, but he has no former Hogs on there, and I think it's hurting him in the state. I really do. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but but he's got to get the stuff figured out. You can't have the blowouts at home. They looked bad at home last year, and but so we'll see. But we'll see how it turns out. But Sam's got to get it figured out. But he's got the best set of coordinators he's had with Bobby Petrino and Travis Williams. So we'll see how all this plays out. But it's up to Sam to get this figured out, because if he wins this year, all this dead man walking and all that crap will go away. Well, it may not go away, but it won't have any meaning.
It'll quiet down the tractors a little bit.
Because he won't be a dead man walking. But if he loses, obviously he's gone. But if he wins with this recruiting staff, look, they brought a lot of kids on campus for official visits, or four-star and high four-star. And they brought some really good prospects on. They didn't get them all. They did get Tavion Wallace. People kind of forget that when they start looking at these kids. But that was a pretty good pull out of Georgia.
Yeah, it's so funny how some of these fans, they really just kind of forget exactly what happened this week. Everybody saw the video of Coach Williams running down the hallway and exuberant and excited. Because, honestly, the people that Arkansas beat out for this kid were no slouches. You're looking at Miami. You're looking at, if I'm not mistaken, Florida State and Georgia. If I'm not mistaken. And
it'd be Florida State, Florida, and Georgia. And that was the Final Four. He had over 25 offers.
And you pulled a kid out of the South that normally probably would have went somewhere else, or would have went to one of those other three schools.
Florida State normally, yeah.
But for some reason, he went to Arkansas. Now, I understand that Arkansas, like you said, you knew that the other two kids were going to be going elsewhere, and that's the reason why there wasn't a lot of effort put into the announcements of those two. But whenever you have an Arkansas kid like that, and then all of a sudden you have two kids leave, and now the focus is not the kid that's coming here, it's the two that left. That right there shows you the tone of the state on where they stand with Sam right now as well, because from here to the next 54 days before this season starts, there are going to be detractors out there that'll be louder than the positive folks. It just is that way. But at the same time, they also have to be more logical and look at what they have in front of them right now. And what it is you have 85 guys on scholarship. You've got Taylor Green, that's now the quarterback. You've got two new running backs with Jaquindon Jackson.
Yeah.
And then Braylon Russell, which, by the way, whenever everybody finally gets to see him in live action, I think you will understand why the running backs left like they did. And not to mention, you got Bobby freaking Petrino calling plays.
Yeah. Well, and then you've got, and all this stuff too now about the top three players in the state of Arkansas are leaving the state. That's bad recruiting rankings.
Mm-hmm.
That's just bad recruiting rankings. You can put Man and Carius Kern up there. Carius Kern's the best player in Arkansas. Carius Kern, the best player in the class of 2025 is Carius Kern, and it's not close. But other than that, you've got Man, but you've also got Grayson Wilson, and then you've got the receiver from Warren. That's the top 4 players in the state of Arkansas. I don't care who ranks what. I've worked at all those recruiting services except on 3, and I can tell you I can rank recruits as good as anybody. And Grayson Wilson should be a 4-star.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the kid in Warren we talked about last week. There's no use going over that again. We know why he's not ranked higher, because he has no video. He has no desire to be ranked high. I mean, he's a oddity in this day and age of look at me, look at me, look at me, and honestly, Grayson Wilson is pretty much the same way. He's got a lot of offers that he hasn't ever reported, because when he committed to Arkansas, the word commitment meant something to him.
Yeah.
And so he's not reporting those offers because he's not interested. Mm-hmm. So, but the top 4 players in Arkansas is Kearns 1, and then you can put the rest. You can put Man, Wilson, and the kid at Warren in any order you want. Then you've got like Marcus Wimberly. After that, you've got I love the Cash Archer. I think Arkansas is making a huge mistake if they don't offer him. Mm-hmm. They should have already offered him. Cash Archer. I know he didn't play linebacker last year, but I mean, I'm going to tell you about Greenwood. If there's any doubt on a kid there, I give the benefit of the doubt to the Greenwood kids, because they can play.
They can go.
I like Quentin Murphy from Parkview. I like him as an athlete. The Settles kid over there at Parkview, I'm going to be honest with you, he may be the best player on that team. He's not rated as high, and he hasn't shown as much as Man right now, but I'm telling you, I don't know where he's going. But, I mean, Arkansas is in the mix. But I love him. But no, they're not. They don't need anybody to say him at quarterback. They're fine. They're Taylor Green is big-time quarterback, people. I mean, forget the Boise State stuff. He should have never been at Boise State to begin with. Nothing wrong with Boise State, but they're fine at quarterback. Quentin Murphy, Taylor Green, and then Grayson went down to Texas and competed against Kane, competed against all these 5-stars around the nation, and won the competition down there. I don't know if it was a Rivals or if it was a Sky on 3. I don't know, 24/7. I don't know which service. Yep. It may have been like a Nike deal. But he went down there in the competition, and Grayson won the competition against all those quarterbacks. So, I mean, there's some bad rankings right now in the state. And, I mean, I'll probably piss some people off when I say that. But, but I really don't care. I mean,
Otis, I don't think you've ever made a person.
All the time. Half the world stays mad at me the rest half the time anyway. And there's another quarter is waiting to join that group. So.
But I was going to say, you've never made a person mad in your life.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some bad rankings right now, but but with that said, now I'm not saying that to defend Sam losing kids. I mean, I said he's got to figure this out, because you can't have a turnstile where kids are leaving the state, and because you're not going, you've got to make an effort to keep. And I'm not saying he didn't make an effort. I shouldn't say that, because that sounds like I'm saying he didn't make an effort to keep them at home. They did. But I'm just saying you've got to figure. That's to say, he's got to figure it out. It's up to Sam to figure this stuff out, because if he starts winning, that will fix a lot of it. That will fix a lot of it. Just start winning. And if he doesn't win, he's not going to have to worry about figuring it out. So, but winning will help. But even at that, I still think he needs to look long and hard about hiring a former Razorback from inside the state of Arkansas to help, recruit the state. I just think that's important. And
I want to bring something up from yesterday that I posted over on Hogville. I said, Arkansas is behind the recruiting with a couple of schools, one most notably just to the north of us. And I said, and I caught some heat for this, and I knew I was going to, but there was a reason why I did. I said, and the reason why I'm going to go back to, and I'll circle back around and I'll make my point, but, and I'm going to help you make your point too with what you just said there, Otis. I posted on Hogville. I said, if Eli Drinkowitz was in a wrestling match, who would you pit him up against? And It was funny because, listen, whenever you get on Hogville, there's a lot of wrestling talk. I mean, there's folks that love ECW, WWE, whatever, TNT, whatever happens to be out there. And whenever there's wrestling talk, I mean, people get fired up with it. And the first thing that got pointed out and then kind of started down the line was, why are we talking about an opposing team's coach 2 months outside of the season? Well, there's a reason for that, because quite honestly, Missouri's came into this state, which, by the way, they have a guy on staff that has a lot of Arkansas connections, and that's the reason why they're pulling kids out of the state with, like what you were just talking about, Otis. And they're punching Arkansas in the mouth in recruiting. They're punching Arkansas in the mouth on the field. And yeah, I know that people think that it's like a fabricated rivalry between Arkansas and Missouri and that battle line rivalry stuff and all that. But the end of the day is Arkansas is not winning. It looks bad. It's not helping Sam any. And now you're getting punked again on the recruiting trail, and this guy's acting like an idiot. And that's the point I'm trying to make is that if Sam wants to, like you were saying, keep some of these kids in state, one, the NIL money has got to be there, which it hasn't in the past, and I think it's starting to get there. And two, you've got to have somebody who gives a damn about the Hogs, because there's not too many on this staff that do. I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm talking about lifers, guys that have been there, that have played within the last 15, 20 years, that love the Hogs as a kid. Because whenever you have those guys recruiting for you and telling you, hey, this is going to mean more to you, not right now, not when you can probably make somewhat, maybe the most money you've ever made in your entire life, but afterwards. I talked to Dallas Young last year. That was the first thing that he told me, was whenever I came to the University of Arkansas, I'm coming here because not for the opportunity to play, but the opportunities that are going to be for me outside of the football field after I leave. You have all these corporate jobs that are willing and want to bring in Razorbacks because they're not going to just up and leave you. They love the state and they love the people here. And that's what you need on this staff, is you need somebody that gives a damn about the Razorbacks and also gives a damn about these kids inside the state, far outside of the program itself.
Well, I think these coaches do. The problem is, I think the difference is, I think Marcus Woodson and Travis Williams and those guys give a big damn about the program. Where I disagree with that, I don't own that, Jason. But I think the difference is, if you get a former Razorback especially from somebody from Arkansas, he can go out here and lay it out to these guys. Mm-hmm. If you're not from the state, and I think this is what you're saying, if you're not from here and you didn't grow up a Razorback and didn't grow up a Razorback fan, you don't know completely how it relates in Arkansas. And that's why you've got to be able to communicate. And if you get a former coach, get a former player who is a coach, he can lay that stuff out because he lived that. It's not something, it's not a dream. It's something he lived out. Reality. It's not a dream, it's reality.
Yeah, I need to change what I said with, like, the coaches don't give a damn. I know that they give a damn, and they love this program. They love this state, and if they didn't, they wouldn't have signed the contract to be here. It's just that whenever you, like you said, when you get a Razorback, a former Razorback here, it's different.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I just don't want to get out and say that I said these coaches don't give a damn, because they do.
That's true.
I know the point you're making, and you're right. They've got. If you get somebody who, like I said, it's not a dream. If you get, let's just throw out a name. I have no idea, but let's just throw out Darren McFadden. Let's throw Darren McFadden out. He's from the state of Arkansas. If he goes out there and tells these kids in Arkansas, he's talking about reality. He's talking about what he did, what happened, what he lived. It's not a dream. It's not a dream. It's reality, man. And Darren McFadden's not the only one. DJ Williams. I'm just throwing out names. I'm not saying who they hired. DJ Williams is from Arkansas, played at Arkansas. Chris Gregg. I can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And, and that's one thing that got me about the defensive line positions, is the guy at Missouri that you were talking about played here in Arkansas, was a revolving door defensive line coach for years before Deke settled it in. And they never hired this guy. It's like Oh, I swear to God, it's almost like Sam. He did hard Dow Loggins. But
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, it's been well, I mean, not. It's been guys that didn't play here, and it's almost like it makes you wonder. It's like, why is I asked Sam once about hiring somebody from Arkansas played for the Razorbacks. He said, "I'm a Razorback," because he was here before. I mean, that was his rebuttal to me, and
Mm-hmm.
I asked him about it. I don't just
Yeah.
get on the bitch about it. I asked about it. It was a question, and that was the answer I got. And uh, but
Yeah, that's I don't know. I really feel like the guys that stuck around the program that transcended coaches like Bobby Allen, for instance, or Lewis Campbell, those guys really they were the fabric of the locker room whenever they were they bring these kids in, because they can tell these kids points of views and stories that are relevant on what they might be going through
Lewis
whenever
Campbell
they
was
come
from
here on
Hamburg,
campus.
played for the Razorbacks, so he knew it. He lived it. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a dream. It was reality. And you don't have to hire the star. I mean, I mentioned it, but you don't have to hire the star player. It's just like in the NBA or NFL. A lot of times the best coaches are not the. I mean, like some of the best players, the great players, make terrible GMs or coaches.
Michael Jordan, for instance.
I mean, yeah, Michael Jordan was terrible, with great cut player.
Yeah.
But he was terrible GM. I mean, but it's not just Michael Jordan. You can go on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most of the best, like Phil Jackson was a role player, yet he's one of the best coaches to ever coach, maybe the best. So that's what I'm saying. So it's not always the star that player who turns out to be the best guy for a job, but there's some former players out there, and I mean, I just think that would help. Is it going to solve everything? No. But the bottom line is, you can hire anybody you want to hire as an assistant coach. You could hire a staff full of former Razorbacks. You still got to win next year. Because if you don't win next year,
it's over.
It's over. So I mean, bottom line is, that's why I said start this program. Sam's got to figure it out. It's up to Sam. He can figure the thing out, and he can turn it around, or he can not figure it out. You can't get blown out at home by Auburn, score 3 points against Mississippi State, get blown out against Missouri, get beat by BYU. BYU over here. I mean, you had one win in Razorback Stadium, and I swear to God, it took a interception in the second quarter to beat Kent State. I mean, ended up beating them. I think 24-6, maybe something like that.
Yeah, it's 24-6.
It wasn't a nail biter, but I mean, it wasn't impressive, and that's got to change.
It has.
If you don't win at home, you're setting yourself up. But bottom line is, this team's going to have to win 7 or more, and they're capable of doing it. Look, Taylor Green is a great quarterback. I think the running back, Jaquindon Jackson, I think he's as good or better than Rocket. I think he is every bit as good. Maybe not.
It's his footwork. I think it's his footwork, honestly, that sets himself apart. It really is.
Jaquindon Jackson, Braylon Russell, you mentioned him. They've got other, we forget Rashad Dominion, I mean, they've got running backs. They've got the offensive line should be a lot better. Those 3 transfers really help.
Yeah.
And, anyway, we'll see what happens. But they've got to, you've just got to figure it out and got to start winning. Always talk about this and that won't matter, because we'll be talking about a new coach. But the bottom line is, you cannot let these kids just leave at will.
Yeah, you can't. And I want to kind of bring up something here too in just a second. But they're going to have to. It's going to have to change. Once practice starts. I mean, they've been doing limited practices now through the summer, and then whenever fall camp starts up here, which, by the way, Otis, if I'm not mistaken, fall camp starts in 3 weeks, and so that's going to be a huge thing where they get in here and they hit the ground running. I think that's going to be very pivotal. And let's see here. So I definitely want to see what happens there. We'll be there every day. We have opportunities to be there. So be sure to check us out on that too as well for all the updates and stuff that we give you guys. So I want to kind of switch things up here for just a second. Razorbacks that are in the NFL, as you guys can see, the ticker on the bottom there shows there's 26 Razorbacks, Otis, that are currently on NFL rosters. You've got 6 of them that are starting. I've got those listed down below as well. Of course, you know that Dre Greenlaw is probably going to miss most, if not probably most of this season too, with that Achilles.
Freak injury too, man.
That was so crazy. Him coming off the sideline like that and then just snapping. I could not believe it. I felt so bad for the guy. I really do. You got, Cam Little. He's going to be doing place kicking and kickoff for Jacksonville. That's what they have him listed at. But, there's a guy for the LA Rams that plays strong safety. I think that Otis, you might be interested in too as well.
Oh, yeah, some guy named Cam Curl.
Yeah.
He's a stud, man. I love Cam, man. That's my brother. I mean, my son, my brother, or something like that. Whatever. We're related somehow. Love that kid, man. He's my favorite player in the NFL. Always has been. I've got his autograph right over here, right by me.
Man. And you got that great story with Jake Bates also that signed a 2-year contract with the Detroit Lions. He's a starter also with Frank Ragnow center. But what I like is the fact you got Yelda Froholt that's over with the Cardinals. So he's going to be doing, he's going to be going not head to head, but against Cam Curl there in the same division, along with Dre Greenlaw whenever he finally gets back to being healthy. But there's the Cam Curl. That was the Washington days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he hadn't played for the Rams yet. I started to say Lakers Rams yet, so I'll get one with the Rams later. But
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, but no, seriously, I mean,
there's talent here on the hill. I mean, there's 26 players in the league. It's not
like
they've
got talent over right now. They've got talent on this team. It's just a matter of. I do think the reason I'm optimistic about them winning 7 or more games this year is because of the upgrade in the coaching staff. They have upgraded. Oh, look, man, I don't care what anybody says. Dan Eno, Sam Pittman is extremely lucky and fortunate that hire of Dan Eno's didn't get him fired last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how bad that hire was. It was a lazy hire. He knew Sam from when he was here in 2015. He felt like he needed to get an offensive coordinator in here, and that was a terrible, terrible hire. And he's fortunate and lucky, beyond fortunate, that hire didn't cost him his job last year.
Yep.
To give him a lifeline here this year with Bobby Petrino, you go from probably the worst offensive coordinator to the absolute worst. I mean, you go from the absolute worst to the absolute best with Bobby Petrino. Eric Mateus. It's not just Eric Mateus either. Look, those 3 transfers on the offensive line, that center and 2 tackles, that really upgraded the offensive line. And I know they signed one from Syracuse, I believe, since
yes,
then.
Yep.
To kind of help too, but not just those tackles, but that allowed them to move Patrick Kudus inside the guard.
Yeah, Pat needed to go back into guard. That's his natural spot.
The offensive line. Look, I talked to I talked to a parent of a current player. About 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Man, he saw me at a 7-on-7, and he wanted to talk. And I thought it was going to be, here we go. He's going to tear Cody Kennedy apart. But he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
He put everything. He didn't tear Sam Pittman apart. He put everything at Dan Eno's feet. I mean, everything.
Yeah.
He said the running backs look terrible. The quarterbacks, the offensive line. But I'm going to tell you, there were some players on the team, and I said this last week, I think. I do so many shows I can't keep up with, but I'm pretty sure I said on here last week that there were some players on the team last year that the others didn't like.
Yeah.
And I like the guys. And they like the guys now. And so the attitude in the locker room should be a lot better. The bottom line is September is going to be so key. not just for Sam, but not just for the Hogs, but for Sam Pittman too.
It's those first 3 games, Otis. It really is those first 3 games. If they can come
first
out,
5 really.
Yeah.
First 5 really. I mean, you go all the way through the A&M game, Jason. You come out of that 3-2 or 4-1, you've got a chance for a good season because you've only got 2 road games after that. But if you come out of that 2-3 or worse, well, if they come out of that 1-4, he may get fired on the spot. I mean, because that would mean you'd probably lose to UAB at home. Mm-hmm. They're going to be UAPB at Little Rock. Let's don't be hypocrites. I mean, they're going to be UAPB at Little Rock. You go there, you go to Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
Then you come home, you play UAB. Then you go to Auburn, and you go to Arlington, play A&M. I'm sorry, in Jerry's World.
That's going to be the last year, too, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. So if you go 3-2 or 4-1 out of that stretch, obviously if you go 5-0, great. But realistically, if you go 3-2 or 4-1 out of that stretch, you should be in pretty good shape for the rest of the season. But the key is we can sit here and talk about on paper what is good and what's realistic, what would be great. But the bottom line is it's got to happen on the field, Jay.
It's got to be between those white lines, between the hashes.
People, we can post stuff. We can post in the chat here. It doesn't matter, people. At the end of the day, they've got to do it on the field this fall. I mean, that's what it comes down to. They've got to look, and look. I don't care what anybody says on here. I don't care what anybody says. They've got the talent to win at least 7 or 8 games over there. They've got the talent. They've got the assistant coaches to do it. They've got the talent and the coaches to do it. I'm not saying they're a playoff team. Don't go say I said they're a playoff. I said they've got the talent to win 7, 8. And look, if you come out of that 4-1 in September, you might win 8 or 9 games. It's not unrealistic. Because if you get on a roll, you get confidence. Just like last year, I think if they'd have won some of those close games early on, they wouldn't have lost some of those games, especially so bad later on. And I saw some posts over here about the defense. Look, the defense is fine. You can't be on the field all the time and eventually not just open the door. They were on the field constantly. It's 3 and out. You hold Mississippi State to 7 points, and your offense gets you 3 points.
Kind of remind me of the Razorbacks of the mid '90s under Danny Ford. Just could not get off the field.
The defense is if the offense keeps them off the field and in a normal, not extraordinary, but just normal rate, the defense will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the offense will be a lot better this year with Bobby Petrino, and that's what I'm What I'm basing my optimism on is the offense being a lot better. The offensive coordinator, the offensive line coach, and then I think they've done well at running back and receivers coach. I'm not saying that they're better than Jimmy Smith and Kenny Guyton, but I'm saying they're not any worse.
Yep.
So when you lose Jimmy Smith and Kenny Guyton and you don't take a step back, that's pretty good.
It is. And we've seen some SEC coaches that have done that too, where, you look at Ed Ogeron, for instance. He had Joe Brady, that was his OC passing game coordinator. He goes up to the NFL and he loses a couple other assistants, and he takes a step back, and that next year he's gone. And not only that, not is he gone, he's gone before the end of the season. And so, that is to Sam's credit, where he's brought in guys that can replenish and not have that drop off, just like with the defense, where he brought in new guys last year that honestly, really, it wasn't a drop off from Barry Odom. It wasn't a drop off from Michael Scherer. I mean, those guys came in and did a serviceable job with what they had to work with. And that's where you lead the optimism for this season, because he's done the same thing now on the offensive side. And so if you piece those things together, and you've got a group in the locker room, like you said, that is excited about playing for each other, not with each other, but for each other, because whenever they get out there, that's where the cohesion starts, is wanting to play for each other, because then you know where your teammates' strengths and weaknesses are, and you're able to help cover for that on that side of the ball, either offense or defense. And whenever you have guys that are invested like that, and I've talked to David Cutcliffe about this before, and you want to be a great teammate. he always says you want to be a great teammate. So whenever you're a great teammate, that means you're invested not only in the system, but you're invested in the person that you're standing beside on both sides behind you and as well. And so that's where I think that that's the tangible difference with this team this year versus was last year.
Yeah, and in one position, there's some you may have a safety that nobody likes, and I'm not saying Arkansas does. I'm just saying you may have a safety nobody can stand, but that guy's out there playing like Steve Atwater, nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to have a quarterback that the players can like and can rally around, and that's what they've got in Taylor Green.
Yeah,
now he's got to have talent, and Taylor Green has a ton of talent. Like I said, I see people doubting him. Look, people. Taylor Green is going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC. Forget the Boise State stuff. He got overlooked in high school for whatever reason, and more kids get overlooked now.
Yeah, and honestly, I think a good comparison as far as body type goes is Jaden Daniels that was at LSU last year. His body type is the same as Jaden Daniels. Now, I'm not saying that the skill level is there yet, but I'm saying that from the eye test, looking at him, that's the first person that reminds me of.
Yeah, Matt Jones is another good comparison for him. I mean, they played at Arkansas. Matt Jones, Taylor's ahead of where Matt was when Matt got here as a passer. Matt got a lot better. He was underrated as a passer. Matt took a lot of flack, but Taylor Green has a lot of Matt Jones in him, and I mean that as a high compliment. I thought I love dual threat quarterbacks. So when you ask me who was the best quarterback to play at Arkansas, I'm going to start listing guys like Quinn Grovey, Matt Jones, and those guys that are dual threats.
Don't forget Greg Thomas. Don't forget Greg Thomas.
Well, yeah, you can go down Greg Thomas. I love KJ Jefferson, but I mean, the thing about it is those are the guys, Ron Calcagney, Greg Thomas, all the dual threats. Those are the guys I like as quarterbacks. The pro style, I don't really think fits Arkansas as well. Now, and Joe Ferguson was a great pro quarterback, but but anyway, this is the key. It's just like I said, we just got to see what happens this fall, man.
Yep. All right, well, Otis, let's get you out here, man. I know you got some interviews to do later on this afternoon, Pig Trail Nation as well, and get them some updates and whatnot. But we'll get you out of here. Everybody go grab some breakfast. And I want to thank y'all for joining us today. I want to thank Torchy's Tacos, locations in Rogers on Pauline Whitaker Parkway and also in Fayetteville on MLK. They're proud sponsors for this entire football season. They will be actually sponsoring us for the next year. So anytime you guys check out any articles that are on Pig Trail Nation, anytime you see any social media posts, you'll see the shows as well. You'll see a Torchy's logo somewhere because not only are they invested in us, we are invested in them. They have damn good tacos, great house queso, and also incredible drinks at the bar too. So make sure to go check all of their great products out and also their tacos of the month. So whenever you walk in, you'll see a billboard on that standing by the register that'll have the taco of the month. And if I'm not mistaken, last month was the rattlesnake, which is a taco with fried catfish in it. And so they've got some unique styles out there too as well. My favorite, honestly, is the steak fajita. Those are incredible too as well. So Otis, next month, that is when we will start doing live shows at Torchy's. And you and I will have to go over that a little bit more and, get some logistics together. But I'm excited for the season. I'm excited for us doing shows at Torchy's. And I'm honestly most excited about tacos.
Yeah, Taco Tuesday. We're going to be doing the show on a different day, so it'll be a different. We can't be LeBron's Taco Tuesday. We'll have to do a different taco day. Well, anyway, I appreciate all the interest over here, and stuff. And bottom line is, a lot of what was posted, maybe all of it was not that it wasn't true, but the bottom line is, Arkansas's got to win on the field this fall.
Yeah.
Or all the debate about Sam can or can't get the job done, it doesn't matter. I mean, the bottom line is he's got, as I said to start the show, and I said it for a reason, he's got to figure it out.
Yep.
This season's on Sam. I think he's got the staff to do it. I love the staff he's hired. I love this staff. I think he's hired staff. I do think he needs to add well, I've already said it a million times. There's no point in going into that again about a poor player. But I mean, I love the staff he's got. I think he's upgraded at some positions and not taking a step back at others. I think they've got the talent to win. When I say the talent to win 7 or 8 games, the thing about it is if you win some of those early games, you get a little momentum, you might get up to 9 wins.
Yeah.
You can pull an upset or two. It's not beyond pulling an upset or two because they're going to get a lot of teams at home. And for some reason, that LSU game, it seems to always be a dogfight.
It is. It always is.
How talented LSU is, or the few times that Arkansas has been a lot more talented than them,
they come up and snakebite Arkansas.
I was in Baton Rouge one time when Arkansas was the heavy favorite. LSU had fired their coach. They didn't want to play that day. And Arkansas was bouncing off. They weren't interested in playing. And I'll be darned if they didn't let LSU come back in the game and beat them, And our LSU had no interest in that game. So that's the thing. I mean, the bottom line is all the debate, we could debate this or that, but there's really not a debate. It comes down to about what? You start late August, basically you got September, October, November. Sam's got 3 months, a 3-month audition for this. And if he passes, great. If he doesn't, then we'll be talking about a new coach, whoever it is. So that's what it comes down to, guys.
And so next week, we'll go over the schedule a little bit more in depth. We'll talk a little bit more about that too, because I feel like, with that September, it's going to play a pivotal role. And so we'll dive into that next week. We'll definitely.
September's the key, man. Like I said, if you come out of that 1-4, he may not survive it. But I really 2 and 3, you got a chance. But man, they need to come out of that 3 and 2 minimum 3 and 2. That would mean you win UAB, you beat UAPB, and then you either win at Oklahoma State or Auburn, or you win in Arlington. And I'm just telling you, winning one of those, you got to win those 2 home games. Because I count Little Rock as a home game, whatever.
Yeah,
that's not going to argue
that. That's a different argument. Not even a debate. Argument.
But you got UAPB. I mean, I don't care if you play them out here at the junior high across, down the road. I mean, you got to beat UAPB, and they will. But UAB, I mean, but the bottom line is that September schedule. When I say 7 wins, I'm basing all that on optimism that they're going to find a way to win 3 or 4 games in September. If they don't, then who knows? Then all bets are off. But I'm finding a way. Believe me, and I'm not saying pumping sunshine. I'm telling you, Sam's got to figure it out. I'm not making excuses or anything. My belief is they can win. They have the talent to win 7 or more games over there this year, and they got the coaching staff to do it. But they've got now, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, like I said, it doesn't matter what these guys put on here. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what you say. It's got to happen on the field. That's what that's what it comes down to.
It does.
It doesn't matter.
All right, Otis, will you take care? And we'll look at the schedule next week. And I want to thank you all for jumping on with us today. Thank you again, sponsors Torchies. And we'll see you guys next week. Go Hogs.
Thanks for joining us.